Hello, welcome. My name is Derek Harder. This is actually a little bit of a video test of my setup. So this one, I'm going to go through pretty much what I'm planning on doing tomorrow in my first actual class. So there'll be some repetition with this one and the first one for the class. I'm just mostly testing out my setup because I didn't get a chance to go into the classroom and test things out. So with that, I'm going to jump in. Once you have access to our class website, let me just do kind of a little bit, maybe spend 10 minutes on the usual sorts of things here, talk about the syllabus and the course content and that kind of stuff, all right? So, once you're into our course, you should be able to find everything. So, I am covering actually two separate sections. Our 574 and 520, we're doing it in the same course, the same materials. We've got two different numbers though for it. So you will find the course syllabus in our course shell under the overview here. I do have some students that are online only. That's fine, and that's one reason why I'm going to try and stream these videos, stream our class sessions using YouTube streaming, some other stuff. So, and I'm trying to get these things set up here. So I'll show you where you can access those from the course here. So, if you are local on campus, I'm actually going to have office hours actually on Tuesday, Thursday mornings, right after our class meetings from like 9 till 11. And then in the afternoons from 2 to 4. So not on Wednesday, just on Tuesday, Thursday. I should fix that, but kind of in the mornings right after this class, and then later in the afternoons from 2 to 4. So this class, if you are interested in our face-to-face sessions, we do have a face-to-face session scheduled on Tuesday, Thursdays. The official start time is supposed to be 8, but I do have some personal stuff, so I might not usually be able to get there until a bit after 8. So I'm just going to officially set it from 8:15 to 9:15. So, and assuming I can get my streaming stuff set up, I will have the ability for you to watch live if you're interested, or for anybody, if I am able to get these streams captured correctly, you can always watch them after the fact. You just wouldn't be able to ask questions while we're doing things in class and stuff. So feel free to contact me by email. So my preferred, so I do have office hours, but I'll often get pulled away from meetings and things. So feel free. It's usually best to start with an email if you need a face-to-face appointment or if you just want to ask questions or things. We are using this the the Garion textbook here, the hands-on machine learning. That will be our primary textbook. You will need to go ahead and get this textbook here. Over here on the additional resources, we should have a link to that. So the Garion textbook it's an O'Reilly textbook. So, but make sure you get that. You don't have to have it online. You can have a physical copy of it. Do get the third edition. So I am using the third edition for this class here. Okay. In addition here, on the additional resources, there are other suggested readings for the first week and a half. So another thing about this course is we did have kind of a little bit of a delayed start. So I usually give like a full 2 weeks before the first assignment is done, but we're starting on like Thursday of this week. So really for the first assignment, which is on just basic Python, just learning how to do the assignments for the class here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the second part of this video here. But I am going to make that our first assignment due next Friday. So you've only got the rest of this week and then all of next week to work on the first assignment. So if you're looking, I don't assume you necessarily know Python, but it is easy enough language that everybody that is a graduate student who's done some programming should be able to pick it up, even if you've never done Python before. If you're looking for a textbook, here's a free one. I really recommend this one. I really like the How to Think Like a Computer Science test using Python. So the not the second edition, the one that I linked to should be the third edition here. So in particular, what you'll need for the first assignment is just to be able to do functions, and to do if, the basic if else statements, and things like that in Python, and doing loops, for loops, and iteration things. Um, and again, I'll try and talk a little bit more about that in our video here today, but that's kind of what I recommend. There's some other resources for Python and things on here that you can also look at. There is actually a set of lecture videos that I already have created for this class. Some, I don't have a complete set of these here, but you can find the YouTube playlist right here on that. In particular, so I'm going to kind of go over doing the assignment workflow and talk a little bit about getting started on assignment 1. So that's really the second video I have here. So if you don't have your environment set up so that you have Python distribution installed, and I recommend using the Docker containers that we have set up here. So that's the purpose of this first video. And that's the link in the getting started here. But once you have the tools, the VS Code, the Git, and a GitHub account, and you've got Docker containers set up and running, then the second video here is about how you actually work on the assignments and the assignment workflows. And I'll get into both of those a little bit here in the video. Okay, there's that link there. There's also a link to our official repository for the course. So in particular, you should be able to clone this one, this repository, and there are a bunch of lecture notebooks. So for the lecture videos that I have on that playlist that I just showed, the corresponding lecture notebooks that I'm going through are in here in this repository. And there's other resources in here as well that I will mention as we go along in the class doing things. All right, and I'm going to put a third link on here, which will be a link to this specifically for the videos for our Spring 2026 class sessions here, assuming that I get these all captured and working correctly here. So look for that as well. There'll be an additional playlist just for our live class sessions, so that if you are an online only student, you can either, again, try and join us live, and I will have in this playlist, you'll be able to go there, and I will set it up so that there's a scheduled live session through the YouTube streaming. Okay, so that'd be the way. If you're interested in trying to join us live, just go to the playlist and open up the live stream, or after the fact, it'll still be there recorded, so you can always go back and look at it if you need to for our live class session. So let me go ahead and just a few final things on the course structure before I move on to try to talk about assignments and things. So we do have 2 exams, and then most of the course, though, is really going to be assignments. And there's a final project, but the final project is maybe a little less than a major final project, but it's a little bit more than an assignment. In fact, it's worth twice as much as an assignment. So these numbers I might adjust a little bit. So if I leave this at 48%, I might make this 16% of the course and adjust this down a little bit. So usually I make the final project worth about double one of the assignments. There'll be 6 or 7 regular assignments, including this first one that's due next week. That's really the majority of the points on the course, right? And there'll be a midterm and a final test, which will be probably 20% or less of your course grade, and then a final 15% will be for that final project. So the difference between this is that this is the same structure as our assignments, but it's open-ended. So you'll have to choose a data set and choose your own goals for applying the stuff that we learn in the course to analyze the data set, build some models, that kind of stuff. And we'll also talk more about that as we do stuff in the course. Also, I'd suggest maybe you look at the calendar that we have, our course schedule for the course here. For the most part, all the readings are coming from the Darien textbook, the hands-on machine learning that I talked about. So we covered basically the first 9 chapters of the textbook, which the textbook actually also has another second half, which is about deep learning, things like that. So we go up to deep learning in this course, the first 9 chapters here. So the first 9 chapters, the first 2/3 of the course are really basic machine learning. Okay, so for our first week here, we're just doing things on Python, and learning some of the scientific Python libraries that we need in the scikit-learn. Then after that, though, so starting with chapters 3 through 7, those are kind of the basics of machine learning. So we'll talk about linear regression and logistic regression in this course as an examples of the fundamental ideas of how machine learning works. And then after the midterm, we'll get into other basic machine learning algorithms or mechanisms that you should be familiar with. So things like k-nearest neighbors, support vector machines, ensemble learning, things like that. And then we spend the last third of the course, or even probably less, the last quarter of the course, we do unsupervised learning. So our focus on this course is what's known as supervised learning. But then at the last 2 or 3 weeks, we'll look at unsupervised learning, which are some techniques that you should be aware of. So they're good tools to have under your tool belt. So things like principal component analysis and clustering, and a few other topics we'll look at. All right. So that's the basic structure of our course. I encourage you to at least look over the syllabus, see if you have any questions on that, but you can find that under the overview for the course here. Okay. So yeah, it was about a little bit over 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to spend another 30 minutes talking about the first assignment, so the stuff on the getting started here. Okay. So I did send out an email already for this course. If you haven't done it yet, you need to have the so you should already have this link, even if you can't get into the course yet when you see this video here. But you should have the tools set up from this link here. So this link is really just some instructions for installing Git, setting up a GitHub account, and setting up your secure shell key so that you can do Git development on GitHub using a secure shell key, and then having Docker. So the recommended way to do assignments in this class is to use the Docker containers that we give here. You can successfully do stuff just by installing a Python distribution on your own, but if you use the Docker containers, you'll be guaranteed that you have exactly the versions of Python and exactly the version of the libraries like scikit-learn and NumPy and SciPy and everything else that you need. Right? So I won't give like technical support. So if you aren't using the containers and you're having compatibility issues, incompatibilities with the libraries and things you're using, that will be on your own. You'll have to figure out those incompatibilities or figure out how to use the official container so you're using the correct versions of all the software that we do here. So so you need Docker as well if you want to use the Docker containers, and then I recommend using VS Code. It's a good tool to use, but from VS Code you can do all the Git and GitHub interactions that you need, cloning repositories and pushing, creating commits and pushing them up for the assignments, as well as you can use and create and interact with these containers. So you can have a container running that will have the Python environment set up for you. All right. So that video, again, I'll go back and show this here. So under the additional resources, the the playlist with the machine learning lecture videos. I won't talk about it here today, but I do go over step-by-step setting all that up. So this C01, my class 1 video, is for setting up Git, Docker, and VS Code. Okay? If you don't have that completed, I'm going to give a little bit of a deadline. So make sure you have this all set up and are able to use this by Friday of the end of this week here. Okay. I'm going to assume if you haven't contacted me by Friday that you think you're fine to go, that you've got Docker, VS Code, and Git, and can run Python and can run Python notebooks and are ready to do the assignments. If you're having problems, contact me on Thursday or Friday during my office hours or send me an email. And we can try and work and get you set up with the tools that you need in order to do the assignments. Okay. So let's see, where were we? Oh yeah, so back to the getting started. So I'm in the for the rest of the day, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kind of do the second, a little bit starting with here. So I want to talk about once you have Docker and everything set up, how you go back working on the assignments here. Okay, let's just jump into that. Also, I also kind of want to show how you work with the class repository as well, so the lecture notebooks and things. But let me start with the assignment. Okay? So first of all, let me go ahead and get VS Code visible over here. So so yeah, if you don't have access to MyLeo Online yet, the normal way you start an assignment, so the first assignment again is due next Friday, which is February 6th here. So the normal way you start an assignment is from MyLeo Online. If you go in here and look in the assignments, there should be an assignment invitation link so for you to click on. Let me. So yeah, I see that I don't have my assignment invitation link set up yet for assignment 1. So let me go ahead and pause here for a second and create that so that we can continue on from here. So just a moment.